All right, guys, so day 2, we're going to reassemble this here. I have all the new head info here. And this, like I said, the old one has these 4-bolt valve cover on it, and the Honda imitation knockoffs, whatever, clones have the single bolt, but the head still works. Everything's the same. This kit comes with all the gaskets that are needed, all the bolts, intake flange, hardware for the head bolts, the valve cover, comes with new dowel pins and those, and exhaust nuts. And everything in here looks good. All right, so I'm going to clean this up here, and we'll get this mounted. I'm going to have to put the carburetor studs on, which it comes with, and it doesn't show in the diagram or the description that it comes with push rods, which is great because one of mine is bent. So that's a plus. All right, so go ahead and clean up your gasket surface. I'm using a scuff pad and some brake cleaner. I'm just going to wipe it all off. You can see it's cleaned up here already. I'll go around and get the whole thing, get it nice and clean. All right, guys, so to give you an idea here, these are the push rods. The one all the way on my left right here is the one that came out of the Sensi engine. This is the Honda clone push rod, and this is just another Honda clone push rod I have from another job. I'm going to show you the difference in height. All right, it's a little bit different there. Not a big deal. The adjustment will be able to handle that without a problem. I don't know which ones I'm going to use, though. These are the ones that came in the kit. It's just like pressed in there, I don't know if you can see that. And these look a little heavier duty. All right, I'm going to measure the end ball here. Whatever one's closest, which I think is going to be this one actually, is the ones that I'll use. All right, then the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and set it on top dead center of the compression stroke. And the easy way to do that is to just push this into the lifter down below. And I'm going to use the pull start to rotate the engine. When I feel this go up and down, I know that's the intake. The piston from that point should be going down. When it comes back up, that's going to be our compression stroke. We'll get it to top dead center, so when we get everything on, we can adjust the valves and all. All right, so as far as the carburetor intake manifold studs, this is what's on the Predator now, and this is what came with the kit, and these are too long. All right, they're different lengths. So we're going to pull these out, just double nut on these, heat this up a little bit, and we'll just back them out. All right, so 2 nuts locked together here. I'm going to put some, these should be held in by red Loctite, so you got to heat red Loctite up to get it out. If you got to grab it here by a vice grip, it's not the end of the world, but channel locks or something like that, but I'm trying to not do any damage to these, but if you did, it's really not a big deal. All right, that's it. But don't burn your fingers, okay? Freaking studs are hot. All right, so let me do the bottom one. All right, so now putting them into the new head, I'm going to use some high strength red Loctite. Just put a little bit on there. And then I have the 2 nuts on here again, as you can see in the top. All right, and we're just going to tighten it all the way in. So we go all the way in. All right, do the same with the other side. Put those all the way in. Head's ready to be installed. All right, guys, so reverse order is going to be the same as you took it apart, but I'm going to go through everything. I'm going to show you the whole deal. The key things that you got to note are some of the torque specs. So these head bolts right here, torque specs are going to be 26 for those, 26 foot-pounds. We're going to do those in stages. So let's go get the new head gasket that comes with the kit. Only goes on one way. And just have these all the way, just backed out all the way, so you can put your push rods in there. We got the studs and everything on. This is going to drop right in. All right, so just find the guide and put them in there. And the kit comes with all 4 new head bolts. So we're going to just, I'm going to put a tiny bit of oil on each one of the threads. And a little bit on the section right, flat part of the bolt. just to get the best possible torque values on there. All right, these are all 14s. I'm going to spin them in gently just to get them, take up all the threads. Now let me get the torque wrench. All right, so I'm going to start with 10 foot-pounds. I'm going to do 18 and then 26. All right, now the final one's going to be 26. All right, and they're all at 26. And it's starting to rain. So now that we have the engine, we know the engine at top dead center, we can set our valves at this point. Take your new push rods, a little bit of oil on each side. The kit comes with a retainer. It looks like this. This goes on the exhaust valve right here. It just slides in like that. Get these finger tight here. I'm going to do the intake at 6 thousandths and the exhaust at 8 thousandths because your exhaust is going to expand more. So 6 thousand, 8 thousand. Right, so you just want a little bit of drag on there. Right, so let's move over to the exhaust side, 8 thousandths. All right, and the exhaust is set. All right, so at this point here, everything is set up here. I'm going to drop a little bit of oil on here, just so it doesn't start up dry. I'm going to take the spark plug out. We're going to rotate the engine a couple times and then it should be good to go. Make sure everything is working properly as we have it set. Okay? Pretty good. Everything, auto decompression, everything is working fine. Good. All right, let's put the valve cover on because when we put the plastic cover, we're going to have to do some trimming. It's a little bit different, but it's no big deal. Let's get this on. All right, so the gasket has a little lip and it just hooks on there. Now there is a difference on these valve covers when it comes to the breather. On the one we took off, it has a nipple on here to put your breather onto. This one doesn't. You just take the hose and stick it in there and it's fine. All right, so your hose like this right here, you just take it and push it in. That's all you gotta do. You don't need this clamp. All right, good to go. So the kit comes with all new gaskets. I'm going to put intake manifold gasket on, and we're going to just keep on clocking here. All right, so on part one, when I took the carburetor off, the intake manifold was attached to it. So don't forget that intake manifold there. So we'll get you guys set up a little bit differently so you can watch the rest of it. All right, so when we're putting this on here, we got a couple, the difference, let me show you the difference here. The bottom mount here is gonna be the same. This mount's gonna be the same, but the way that this is set up here, it rubs, it's too tight right here. See this, we gotta trim this lip off. And that should get us in the right place. The valve cover's a little different on the old one where it sits all the way here and this part is more narrow. So we're just gonna do a little bit of trim and we should be good. This should just slide right on there. Now I'm just using a Dremel. I believe this is a drywall bit, and it cuts it real easy. I'm just coming up from behind it here and just kind of buzzing it along. It took me not even 2 minutes to do it. and I cut the entire lip off, okay, around that whole edge. All right, let's fit it on. All right, so you can see you trim it just enough all the way around so the rubber gasket can fit and it sits in there, no problem. All right, so let's get these bolts back in. Remember, we have 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so let's get the carburetor on here. Got a new gasket here from the kit. You have the intake manifold here, goes on next. Okay, the spark plug wire gets guided right through there. We have another gasket here. All right, and the hole in the top right, so it's going on like this. Then the carburetor. Then we have another gasket in between here. It goes on like that. Make sure your gasket material and everything is cleaned. All right, and then after that's on, we got another gasket that goes right here. I'm reusing this one. I don't have another one. All right, and then our air box goes on. All right, so putting the air box back on, we got the one that's behind here, the nut behind here, and the nut that's inside here. But remember, we have our vent line we have to work our way in. So we're gonna just push that in there. It's gonna fit in there tight, but it's gonna seal up just fine, okay? All right, so let's get these 2 10s on here. All right, so getting the one in here, remember we flex this away. It's easy. Pull this hose out so it's not blocking you, and then you can pull this out and get your fingers on that one, get that one in there. So we got that one, and then we got that one right there. All right, so let's tighten those up. All right, so we also have our 10 millimeter that's back behind here. All right, we got that 10 millimeter right there to tighten up. We got our vent line right here. Remember, this one goes to the tank, okay? And then we have to do our little 8 millimeters that are here, three there, put our air filter in and fight to get that bottom clip on. If they should have made this thing a ½ an inch shorter, and it would have alleviated all that trouble. But let's go ahead and get this back together. All right, just the right amount of cursing and a big screwdriver. I was able to get that stupid little clip in the bottom. The problem is this part that locks up swings down and hits that bolt. And then when you get it past that, it hits there, and it needs to be all the way back in order to get this hooked on. So when you hook it on here, you can't swing it back. You have to just kind of flex and bend everything to make it happen. I don't know why they did it like that. It's ridiculous. All right, but tough stuff's done. Let's go ahead and put the exhaust shield and everything on here first before we put the exhaust on. So let me go grab that. All right, so the rest of this assembly here is going to be a faster, assembly. So I'm going to be using certain tools to help me with that. One, I'm going to be using this. I'm start everything by hand, spin it on, and then use your ratchets to get it on into place. And then I'll tighten them with a regular wrench by hand. All right, and then when I'm doing like all these side bolts, all these ones for the side plastic and all that kind of stuff, I'll be using a clutch drill. And the drill, I'm going to dial this all the way down to probably like 2, 3 right there probably. I'll check it and it'll zip them all in real quick, and then I'll just go back and chase them all by hand, and that saves you a ton of time. So let me get these all tightened up here. These do about 35 foot-pounds. All right, so the 10, 10, 10, 10, 13, right, to make them tight. I don't have torque specs for these. Okay, now we're gonna put the exhaust in. Remember, we have to have it kind of like slip it in at an angle to get it in. So I'm gonna put the pipe on, work it on, lock washers, and then nuts. Or you can use the nuts that came with the kit that have the already locking part on there. I'll probably go with that. All right, this is why this thing's so quiet. It's like a car muffler on here. They have a screen on here, which is a spark arrestor. Clean that every once in a while. All right, so this is where we're at right now. I have to get it down a little bit, so I just got to keep working it. I'm going to try to use something up through here maybe and just kind of push it down a little bit. Those studs may be a little bit longer on this, which is making it difficult. If they were a little bit shorter, it should be able to drop right on. I might have to figure something out there, but let me see if I can get it on. Okay, these are a lot shorter. All right, so there's our distance right there. And these are much longer. All right, so I got to cut them shorter. So let's pull this off and let's cut them shorter. All right, so I measured them, cutting that much off right there. I'll cut them off, file them. I got the nuts on. When you spin the nuts off, it'll clean up any threads you need. All right, much better. Spin the nuts off and we're good to go. All right, whatever stuff happens, we're back on track. All right, so gasket is on. Drop this down in there. All right, so now I'll put our bolts on the exhaust manifold. Let me show you. All right, so even with that cut, you see we got plenty of room there to get these in. Exhaust manifold, new gasket, tight. Let's put all of our muffled bolts on here. Four of those. These are the ones with the washers. All right, let's put the cap on the back right here. Top plastic cover here. Flexes and pops into place. And these are the black ones with the washers, okay? All the same size. All right, so we got the shield on the other side, that seal gasket that goes around here. We're gonna put that on. This on, it has a bigger gap on the bottom than the top. The top is thinner on the plastic part and the bottom's wider for the metal lower part. All right, we're looking good. Let's move on to the gas tank. I'm gonna drain it out and then we'll throw it on here. Now with all this stuff off, there's enough room and flex for all this stuff to get the tank in and flex it around. We got that rubber seal that goes on it as well. Start getting things back in place here. Hook up the fuel line. All right, 4 tank bolts with washers. Get our seals back in place. All right, we're going to get these 2 handles back on, and then our 4 bolts for the plastic covers. Remember, these have a pin in here. They all go a certain way, and then they have an 8mm that goes right there. Here, here, and then you have the 8mm that goes in the center. All right, and then we have our one here. Same on this side. Four for the tank covers. All right, rubber caps for all 4. But this one had a longer 8mm, but that one didn't. Who knows if that was put together properly or not, but it's how it came here, so do it the same. These here, got this cross member bracket to go underneath right here. Do that. All right, and then these 3 screws at each one of the handles. Okay, these are like going into plastic and they're like wood screws, so be careful. Don't make them too tight. Just snug them up or else you'll strip them. All right, now the side covers. Remember we had these loose right here, and we have our long bolts that go into the sides, which I think probably one of those long ones. Yeah, long one here, long one there. And then let's go ahead and put the side covers on. Don't forget to pull your pull starter through and attach it. And I'm probably going to cut that line shorter just so that doesn't snap on me. All right, remember these clips on both sides. Okay, we have them here and on the other side. That's why we had to take out these on this side to flex this out. Let's get those back in. All right, so 8, 8, 8, 8. That one and this one. Let's move to the other side. You want to do this one and the other one and then the back one. All right, and on this side with the tank on, before you put the cover on, put your vent line. And we got to put it back on there. And that has the shortest bolt out of all of them. All right, and this is the shortest one that goes in here. Right there. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's do the back cover. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they're all the same size. All right, so I'm going to leave the side cover, Predator cover off. I'm going to do an oil change before I start it and put fresh gas in it. So let me get that done. All right, so it's all buttoned back up again. I'm going to fire it up and we'll let it run for a minute or so, and then I'll shut it down. And then I'm going to let it move it outside and run it for probably an hour or so, and then do another oil change. And so let's start. All right, here we go. I think he goes on. Running perfect. Everything's looking good. So guys, I'm going to run it for like an hour and then recheck the valves again, make sure everything's settled in good. We'll shut it down now. All right, so I'm going to let it run for like, I don't know, an hour or so. And then I'm going to do another oil change. I'm going to check the valves again, make sure they settled in nicely. It's running perfect though, so everything looks good. Anyway, guys, hopefully this helps you out. The valves go bad in these things. You got to replace the head. It's really not a bad job. It took me about an hour and a half to take it apart. Took me a little bit longer because I had to change the studs and I forgot about those exhaust studs, but it's about an hour and a half to put it back together again. So if you brought this somewhere, you're probably looking at $500 job to get this repaired. So hopefully it saves you a lot of money and helps you out, guys. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for further notifications. And if you're using this for a food truck, get that food served. We'll see you.